Welcome to ESCA Legal Lounge. My name is Kimber Marie. I'm an associate here at ESCA, and today I'm joined by Cassidy Moon, another associate, and one of our partners, Nicole. Cassidy, Nicole, how are both of you today?
Good.
Doing
How are
well.
you?
Yeah, we're going to be discussing escapades, and I figured now that we've revealed all the panels, we can just kind of intro escapades again. What is it? What are our plans? And what will each panel be discussing this year? And so, Cassidy, I'll start with you. If you'd like to just start off by introducing the first panel that we have lined up and what people can expect at Escapades 2025.
Yeah, so I'll start off with what to expect at Escapades. This event was really developed with collaboration and networking in mind. Really, we want to encourage attendees to work together to solve problems that we're all facing with respect to intellectual property enforcement and brand protection. So we really want attendees to be able to take away practical skills that they can use in their practice or apply to their brands instead of just, a conference that feels like you're being lectured at all day. So we'll start off the event with our Global Intellectual Property Protection for the Modern Brand panel, which is going to focus more on maybe the first step of brand protection, which would be protecting your IP. A lot discussing, trademark, copyright, and patent prosecution and like the early steps of enforcement, different tools that are available, domain name proceedings, all that good stuff. And our panelists will be ESCA's own Francesca Witzberg, our founder and managing partner, Stacy Stark, who's intellectual property counsel at Estee Lauder, Sarah Covell, who is a new media and intellectual property attorney, who's most recently the head of business and legal affairs at Doodles. And the panel will be moderated by Rob Dorfler, who is the assistant general counsel and intellectual property at Robinhood Markets.
Awesome. I think that's going to be a great intro and kind of like setting the stage for escapades and diving into our next subjects, which Nicole, I'll let you introduce the next one, which I think is a more niche subject. So I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, so just to follow up also on what Cassidy was saying about escapades, networking collaboration are super important. And I think having the attendees walk away with practical skills is also really important. We go to all of these conferences all the time where the speakers are throwing a lot of softball questions and you're not really learning a lot of tactical or practical advice for really how to navigate the day to day. And, not that we're trying to get any of the speakers or any of that, but we definitely want to have thought-provoking conversations with anecdotes from thought leaders in the industry, how they navigated a specific deal or crisis or something like that. So that's just one point that I wanted to make about escapades, in its totality. The panel that I'm on is called Guarding Brand Reputation, IP and Collaborations in the Social Media Era. And so joined with me on the panel are the moderator is Eric Winchell. He is the VP Associate General Counsel of Marquee Brands, and I worked closely with him in the past. Paul Anderson, who's the SVP General Counsel at Barstool Sports. Myself, obviously, Manu Harnell, who's the Associate General Counsel, Head of IP at Celsius Energy Drinks, and Sarah Siegel, who's Associate Counsel for Digital and Legal over at Warner Music Group. So it's a really great, well-rounded panel. And the conversations are going to be fantastic. And I think, the topics are still being finessed and largely are, a lot of input from the speakers about what they want to talk about and what issues they face on the daily. But, we'll talk a lot about, a lot of the brands that are going to be on this panel utilize social media as one of its biggest marketing tools. And whether that's engaging influencers or marketing campaigns that are fueled by social media versus historical marketing campaigns, we're going to kind of dive into all of that and then the ramifications from a legal perspective or how legal works with the brands when they're setting up, a social media campaign or a launch or something like that. So it should be a really fun panel. I'm really excited.
Yes, that does sound great. And just with, I know with some of our clients, influencers and collaborations comes up a lot in our work, and especially in 2025. And I think you actually just the other day taught at a law school on this subject, so it's a very hot topic right now.
Yeah.
And another hot topic, Cassidy, I'll let you intro the third panel, but I know counterfeits are another big subject we'll be discussing. So maybe you can intro our counterfeit panel.
Yeah, so this panel is titled Dupes, Fakes, Scams, Oh My, Online Enforcement Strategies in the Digital Age. So kind of, piggybacking off of Nicole's panel, this panel will really focus on how to enforce your IP in the online environment, very much, focused on today, because a lot of attorneys in the industry or brand protection experts who have been around for a really long time, the way that counterfeiters are going about their infringing conduct has changed a lot. We still see things going on Canal Street or what have you, but a lot of infringement is happening online now. So this panel will focus on enforcement strategies for places like Amazon, TikTok Shop, UDRP proceedings to get your domain name back, all of that good stuff. So our panelists it's a really incredible expert panel. Francesca Witzberg will be moderating, and she'll be joined by Heather McDonald, who's a partner at Baker Hostetler and is one of the leading anti-counterfeiting litigators in the fashion law space. So we're really, really excited to have her. And then we'll have ESCA partner Leo Lichtman, who runs all of our Schedule A litigation at ESCA. We'll be joined by Lindsay Hogan, who is VP Corporate Counsel at Christie's Auction House. And finally, Will Boychuk, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Copa Brand Protection, which is the online software that we use here at ESCA to help enforce our clients' rights online.
Amazing. And for our final panel, Nicole, I'll let you introduce our last but not least panel that we have planned for Escapades.
Sure. So this is our Innovating Income Licensing and Monetizing IP panel. And so the moderator will be Evan Nahr. He's corporate counsel at WHP Global. He's moderated panels that I've been on in the past, and he is very good at that job. So it should be really fun and engaging. Angela Cox, who's our patent partner here at ESCA. Robert Dundon, who's CEO at Stetson, which is a fabulous Western wear brand that does a lot of collaborations, and we should all be wearing their stuff. Nicole Eisenberg, who's SVP General Counsel at Kravet, that I worked closely with her on the Kravet Pottery Barn collaboration. Mark Lieberstein, who's a trademark licensing and franchise partner at Ackerman and a mentor of mine for a long time. And Greg Sullivan, who's the executive director, he's the banker at JP Morgan. And the goal of that panel is to talk about how do these different companies and brands monetize their IP. So whether that's licensing, franchise, joint ventures, other types of strategic partnerships. It'll be a really interesting deep dive kind of from all areas, from a in-house person, a partner at our firm, somebody who runs a fashion company. So you're gonna get all of these really interesting insights from different speakers who are in different places.
Great. And I figured to wrap up this discussion and introducing the panels, it might be nice for each of us to say what, maybe a little cheesy, but what we're most excited for at Escapades. I know for me, one, to get to meet everyone in person because we are primarily a remote office. So that is something I look forward to, but I also am really excited to see the dynamic in these discussions between people who are from different companies or, law firms or just different backgrounds discussing these same overarching issues and how they all overlap. I think that'll be very interesting to watch, especially as a new attorney kind of finding my way in this field. Cassidy, what are you most looking forward to with these panels?
Yeah, so as far as the panels go, I am really, really excited for Nicole's panel discussing kind of the marketing implications sometimes in intellectual property. I think that'll be a really dynamic conversation. I'm excited to hear from these panelists who are, in-house at some of the top media companies in the world right now. But beyond the panels, I'm also really excited. This year, we're trying something a little bit new. We're going to have some vendors at the event. We're going to be highlighting some of our speakers and clients like Copa Brand Protection will have a table there to discuss their platform. We'll also be featuring Ornament Anchor, which is a company that was on Shark Tank, and Brett Lauren Jewelry, who makes really beautiful gemstone jewelry and has a very strong service core to her business as well. So I'm really, really excited to see how that plays out, and kind of, weaving in our brands with the professional side of the event.
Nice. And Nicole, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
What I loved about last year's event and what I think is going to carry through to this year is that these conferences are kind of like a wedding where all of these people that you respect and admire are in one place, and you turn around and you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a year, and so much has happened. And it's just great to have all of these wonderful, smart people in one room at your disposal. And, as for the panels, I'm really excited for them to be kind of exploited in many ways. You have these fabulous speakers on a stage for a great period of time, and they're going to answer really cool questions. And that is really, I think, going to be so fun for everybody.
Yes, I agree. And I think we should start a countdown somewhere that we can keep in mind, because I think everyone's looking forward to this. So thank you both
22 days.
22
you.
days, 3 weeks from
22 days.
tomorrow.
Time flies. So I'm thankful for both of you joining me today, revealing the panels and kind of giving people a sneak peek as to what they can expect. For the viewers, we'll be back next week with ESCA Legal Lounge, and thank you both.
Thank you. See you later.